always dreamed about owning a home? I'm going to give you 10 steps to make that happen. Coming right up.
Welcome to 772 Living with Lisa, where you can learn all about Florida's Treasure Coast, local neighborhoods, and real estate tips. I'm Lisa Ammons, local resident and real estate professional.
So there's a lot of information on the internet. I'm going to give you the top 10 most important things you need to do in order to get into that house. Number 1 is check your credit. If buying a home is on your radar, then checking your credit should be the first thing that you do. You can get a free credit report at annualcreditreport.com. There are 3 major credit bureaus. There's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. All 3 of them are required to give you a free credit report once a year. I'll start off by saying that finding errors on your credit report is not uncommon. An error can cost you a higher interest rate on that home mortgage. An error can also cost you the entire mortgage. You can get turned down if there are errors on your credit report. So checking your credit is the first part of the pre-qualification process. And speaking of pre-qualification, you're going to need to speak to a lender because you're going to need to have them look at your credit and help you along the way to find out exactly what you can afford. Now, you may know a banker, maybe your local bank. Not necessarily a bad thing, but not necessarily a good thing. In the 20 plus years that I've been in this job, I have found that sometimes big banks aren't the best place to start for your loan. A lot of the brokerage firms have excellent rates and they have a little bit of a larger selection of products. Maybe a product that works best for your particular situation. You don't know a mortgage broker? The best place to find a mortgage broker is to find a good realtor. So, step number 2 actually is find a good agent. The agent is going to be your rock, your best friend, and the person that's going to hold your hand through this entire process. That agent will know a good lender for you to speak with. It is the cornerstone of them getting home sales. So of course, they're going to know who the good lenders are, who provides good customer service, and who's going to take care of you, because it's a reflection of them. So finding a good real estate agent who can put you in touch with a good lender is your second step. Don't know a good agent? I'm sure you have a friend. If you don't, that's a problem. But I'm sure you have friends. Ask a friend. Who did they use to purchase their home? And would they recommend them? Make sure you ask that. Read reviews and see who out there is giving, good customer service. But most of all, find a seasoned realtor who has experience. You don't want to have a realtor who's just started, and you certainly don't want to be their first transaction. So now you've found your realtor, aka your new best friend. That realtor should be able to provide you with at least 3 good mortgage sources for you to get your pre-qualification. So step number 3, get that pre-qualification. The lender's going to go over what you can afford. They need to go over how much cash you have on hand, how much cash you'll need for closing, and how much payment you can afford. Lenders are always happy to lend you the maximum amount your debt will allow. The question is, are you comfortable with that? You need to look at what you feel comfortable with in reference to a mortgage payment. Lenders do look at your total debt to income. For most loan products, it's about 43%, which includes all of your bills plus that mortgage payment. There are plenty of mortgage calculators online to help you determine the maximum amount you can afford. However, your best resource is that mortgage lender. Now, if you're pushing the limits of what you can afford and you're carrying some unwanted debt, you may have to take some time to pay that debt down. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. It puts you in control of the situation and knowing what you need to accomplish in order to get that home. Step number 4 is back to money. Working a down payment plan. If you don't already have the money in the bank, your 4th step is to save enough money to put a down payment on the house and pay your closing costs. Most conventional loans will require you to have 20%. However, there are others that won't. If you don't put the 20% down, you are going to incur an additional expense called PMI, private mortgage insurance. It protects the lender because you have less skin in the game, so to speak. Lenders like to see a big down payment. Yep. Now, a popular product that you might consider would be an FHA loan. FHA requires 3.5% down. A lot of people that don't have a tremendous amount of funds available will use the FHA loan. However, the FHA loan has permanent PMI. So if you can go conventional, that's what I would recommend. Okay, you know your credit status. You've found an agent. You've got a loan pre-qualification now. It's time to get serious about discussing your home preferences and your budget with your realtor. Step number 5. Start seeing those properties. So your agent is going to start sending you listings based upon the preferences that you've asked. You'll get to look at them online, see lots of pictures, and pick the ones that are highest on your priority list and go out and physically see them, which is the fun part. So it's hard to determine how long it will actually take you to find a home, and hopefully you will listen to your realtor. If you are in a market, a seller's market, like right now where I live and the time of year, we're in 2018, it's August, it is a seller's market, at least here in Florida it is. If you really like that house, do not hesitate because someone will beat you to the punch. Step number 6 is make an offer. Making an offer can often be a very emotional experience for a buyer, especially if you've never done it before. It's almost like going on a first date. You know, are they going to like you? Are they going to accept my offer? You need to listen to your realtor. They will help you make the deal happen, but you got to take advice from a professional. The bottom line here is a seller is going to accept the best offer that is presented to them. Always keep that in mind. Put your seller hat on when you go to make an offer. Pretend like it's your house, and what would you do, particularly if other buyers are looking at it? You're selling the house. What do you think the house is worth? If you have 5 or 6 people looking at it, you're obviously going to cherry pick the best deal. So keep that in mind. Now, sometimes the seller will give you a counter offer. That's actually a good thing. A good seasoned realtor will use his skills to negotiate on your behalf, bringing both parties together so we have a happy buyer and a happy seller. Step number 7, inspections. If your offer was accepted, congratulations. Now it's time to inspect the home. You will hire a licensed home inspector to check the home out to see if it needs any repairs and the overall condition of the house itself. Most contracts have an inspection contingency. So if you find something really major, most often You can cancel the contract if you find like the roof is getting ready to fall in. Or you can renegotiate the price if it's a substantial repair that is needed. Your realtor will hold your hand and guide you through that process. Home inspections are very important because you need to know if there are going to be out-of-pocket repairs needed on that property. If it's really big repairs, you need to plan for that. Or maybe it's just not the house for you. I would like to mention that no house is perfect, and you will always find something. There's always some type of wear, tear item. You'll find a lot of them really aren't deal breakers. You know, they've got a little wood rot on the corner of the house. It's no big deal. We have that all the time here in Florida. But your home inspector is going to give you a report. I highly recommend that you are present during the home inspection and have the home inspector go over his findings with you individually while you're there, because you're going to get the report later the next day. It's 50 pages. It's overwhelming. And then you're going to be, trying to get him on the phone to explain the situation. A lot of times the report can be overwhelming and it can seem very daunting and somewhat confusing. So I highly recommend that when you have your home inspection, that you are there with the home inspector and he can go over everything with you. It's like a tutorial on the house. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So be there, be present, go over the report while you're there, and you will be much better off. Okay, we've gotten through the home inspection. It's always stressful. So step number 8 is the appraisal. Okay, so if you're getting a loan to buy the house, the bank's going to order an appraisal. They want to make sure that it has enough value to substantiate the loan and the contract price. If you went under contract for $300,000, that house needs to appraise for $300,000. Because if it comes in low, we got a problem. You can renegotiate the price down to the appraised value. Your deal might fall apart, or if it's like, $1,000 or something, you may elect to split the difference with the seller. So, once the appraisal is completed, basically you are just continuing to provide your documents to the lender. They're going to continue to ask you for updated pay stubs, maybe another bank statement. You have to go out and get an insurance binder. So you'll be shopping for home insurance during this appraisal process. And once you find your home insurance company, they're going to give you a little piece of paper called a binder. You're going to give that to your lender so that once it's all done with the appraisal, you've got your insurance, your title order is completed, your bank's going to put all that together and get your loan package ready. Once that loan is actually ready, the lender's going to send you your documents 3 days prior to the closing date. And you're going to sign a form stating you had an opportunity to look over your settlement statement. It's called a CD, closing document. You'll get that 3 days before closing. So the 3 days is up now. You're getting ready to close. This is exciting stuff. One little last thing that you need to do, besides wire that money for your down payment to the settlement agency, you need to do that walkthrough. So, your walkthrough, typically done either 24 hours before the closing or the day of the closing. You will go over to the property that you are buying and walk on through. You want to make sure that the home has been maintained and kept in the same condition that it was when you signed that contract. You want to make sure that all the appliances that were negotiated into the contract are still there, have not been removed. And basically just give it a once over to make sure everything's in order. Ta-da! Step number 10, closing. So you're going to march on over to the attorney's office or the settlement agent, which might be a title company where you live, and get ready to wear that little handout. You're going to get a pile of paper like this, and you're going to sign, sign, and sign. Need to bring your ID, need to prove that you are who you say you are, and you need to bring a smile because you're about to become a homeowner. Once you've signed all the paperwork and your settlement agent has scanned it and sent it back to the bank's gonna press the fund button. The funds will be transferred and voila, you get a set of keys. Now, if you were one of my customers, in addition to that set of keys, I think there might be a bottle of champagne accompanying those keys. So, in the description below of this video, I have all of these steps outlined for you. And of course, you can make comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about buying a home. And if you're a local resident, of course, give me a call and I'll see what I can do to help you get into your first home. Need some additional information about home buying or home selling? Check out the tips and tricks section of my channel. There are some additional videos there and you might find something that helps you.
If you subscribe to our channel, you'll be informed when we have new video. And of course, if the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. I'm Lisa Ammons. Thank you for stopping by.